So, down in the USSR of A, things are getting a bit hairy. And it's not surprising, if I'm honest, I kind of thought it would happen sooner. If you remember, the Mad King has been pushing people out of the Overton window for a good while now. It's funny because the news keeps saying that we're inching closer to a constitutional crisis. And it's like, these newscasters are worse at exaggerating the size of inches than your average gay guy who's hung like a grape. No, Trevor, that's not 7 inches. That is disappointing. The photo you sent me did not look like this, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave now, because I don't think that's going to get past the butt cheeks. But America has been having a constitutional crisis for approximately as long as I've been making videos. They don't even have a constitution anymore. They have some very old discarded toilet paper. The fact is, American democracy wasn't designed with the idea that the general population could be tricked into voting for someone who was both a total narcissist and a total moron. America's forefathers couldn't conceive of a future where the wealth inequality could lead to billionaires pooling resources together to completely subvert the will of the people, and to ensure that a senile idiot who wanted to destroy the country would be put in power again, instead of a capable, if still very corporatist and not overly inspiring, black woman. To be fair, though, America's forefathers probably couldn't conceive of a black person or a woman running for the presidency or voting. The thing is, back when America's Constitution and all that jazz was written, someone like the Mad King wouldn't have lived this long. Most people back then didn't live past their 40s. And quite frankly, back then, forensics weren't that good. If the president got out of line, you just had to wait for him to go to the theater. Really, all of this is the Secret Service's fault. And honestly, I suspect that is one of the reasons why they're turning DC into a dystopian police state. 2025 in many ways has felt like a bad movie. Every day has a minimum of 3 separate crises. America is involved in so many military conflicts, but each one of them has been kind of small relative to, things like Iraq and Afghanistan. I suspect that they've been using these things that probably shouldn't have happened in the first place to weed out everyone in the chain of command who might say no to an illegal order. They're boiling the frog alive. We've seen it with the courts. They've done heaps of illegal things, but in general, as soon as anything gets up to the supreme cucks, they've been more than happy to let the tangerine toddler put another mushroom-shaped hole in the Constitution. The really sad thing is, nobody is going to be coming to save America. I will be shocked if the Supreme Court doesn't just rubber stamp what's going on with DC. And when they don't, it won't be long before lawmakers who didn't sell out the country start showing up, not breathing, under suspicious circumstances. Does that sound extreme? Sure, but so do camps. Yet they already have camps. There's camps all over the world now. The fact is, if Western governments aren't going to abandon unfettered capitalism, camps become necessary. This summer, I have barely been able to leave my apartment because of all the smoke from wildfires caused by drought. The days of summers filled with sunshine and fresh air for months on end will probably never come back to North America and much of the rest of the world, even as coal plants are being brought back online to power buildings full of NVIDIA cards training LLMs on more and more data, failing to realize that the current methods of building LLMs isn't going to lead to generalized intelligence anytime soon. Yes, very powerful servers can train a model to write passable essays and answer questions a company wants their customers to ask, but you can't teach an LLM ethics. You can't teach it reason. You can't teach it that when someone says, my computer did this, 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 and this, if none of it makes sense, the computer's not going to manage to intuit what the person actually thinks. So many jobs that they want to wipe out with AI won't be wipe-outable. We're burning down our planet's future in the hopes of ensuring that companies can fire a bunch of entry-level workers, which means we will need camps because those people won't have jobs. And when people don't have jobs, they get inconvenient. And we won't want to do UBI and things like that because if people don't have to work for a living, then they might realize that the system's rigged and they might rebel. And so in order to keep all of us from rebelling when we have nothing to do and no resources to do anything with, they're going to put us all in camps. That's basically the plan. As there's fewer and fewer jobs available, more and more jobs are going to start to resemble slavery more than they already do. And yeah, all of this is happening because of the narcissism of capitalism. The rich needed to put a gullible idiot in place to ensure that they'd rule over whatever would be, and they're willing to sabotage what will be as long as they get to be the most powerful people in whatever it is. And the only possible solution to this will be when enough people become willing to resist from a place of extreme selflessness, and whoever does it won't be acknowledged as what they were for a very long time afterward.